Hey everybody, Kai here back for another video. Today I'm going to be doing a good budget setup for a beginner. I'm not going to say this is the best budget setup. And actually, well, you know what, it's not really quite a budget setup, it's more of just a good beginner setup. The brush I'm going to be using isn't what I'd necessarily call like budget per se, but it is good for a beginner. So I've already got the brush preloaded here. This is going to be my TurnNShave brush. Handle doesn't matter so much, it's really personal preference, but the knot is a Maggard 2-band, and that knot is it's a great value. I'm just gonna get lathered here. Soap I'm using is Italian Barber's Amici, and that stuff is as budget and value as it gets though. But the Maggard 2-band is a great beginner knot. It's not particularly pricey. It is actually what most people would call a budget badger knot, and off the top of my head, it's probably the best budget badger knot that I can think of. You get a really nice knot. I believe they're $25. So Maggard has a new knot on there called the super high density knot. Don't get confused with that one, as I haven't tried it, but I've heard it's a very good knot, but it is twice the price. So if you're someone new, or you are recommending stuff to someone, make sure you don't get those two confused. But yeah, it's a very nice knot. It's got a nice amount of scrub to it. Once you break it in, which is just a couple uses, it softens up a bit more. It's got a nice backbone, not too much of anything though. Not too much backbone, not too much scrub. It's a nice balance of everything. It's a good gateway knot into badgers. So the soap is Italian Barber's Amici, and I really like this stuff. I think it's one of the best cheap soaps on the market, and I will call it cheap because it really is. As far as I'm aware, it is $2.99, and the splash is $5 or $6.99. So you can get both of these, or both the splash and the soap, for $10. And that is probably one of the best values in wet shaving. Now, if you're someone who's already been wet shaving for a little, will this stuff knock your socks off? Possibly. It really performs well. It is the same soap base as the rest of, so Italian Barber makes Razor Rock, they use Chun Fung Sing, or TFS, for their soap base, and this is supposed to be the same soap base as the rest of the soaps, but to me, this one performs way better than any other Razor Rock I've tried. Tallow and lanolin, or tallow, or anything. This one outperforms them all, and it's just like a standard vegan. Nothing super impressive. about the base or the ingredients. It's just really simple stuff, but to me it's definitely like the best soap that they offer from their line. So I don't know, maybe I'm just subconsciously taking the value into account, but either way, I mean, for $2.99 this stuff smells great. It's got a like a grapefruit and amber scent to it. There's other notes in there. It's actually a fairly complex scent considering the price. And as you can see, lathers really well. Gives you everything you need in a soap, and definitely my favorite budget soap. Even scent wise, this is one of my favorite soaps just in general. So the razor I'm going to be using is my vintage Worldmaster. I think vintage is really the way to go if you're someone who's just getting started into straight razors. I'm not too big of a fan of most new production razors nowadays. A lot of them aren't very good quality. And they're just overpriced for what you're getting. Another good option for someone just starting is a gold dollar. But you want to buy it from someone who has altered it a little bit. You don't just want to buy a brand new one, because those come with a lot of problems, and they're also not ready to shave. So you would buy one brand new, have to send it out anyway. So just buy it from someone who knows what they're doing with them. You know, Anthony Esposito, Dr. Matt. There's a few other guys, but gold dollars do have their issues as well. Like the scales aren't very good on them. Not that that really matters, but I mean, I know they tend to warp, so your razor can't close, so that's a little bit of an issue. And you know, it's not something that you'll want to keep around for forever. I mean, you could get the scales replaced, but at that point you're just kind of putting in money. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying gold dollars are garbage razors. They definitely shave. I shaved with them before and they definitely work, but I'm just thinking in terms of like something, you know, you can keep. Gold dollar wouldn't be my recommendation, just because of, like I said, scale warping and other things like that. So that's why I'd recommend vintage. You know, with that comes the little asterisk of not all vintages are going to be equal. You can get some really good condition ones like the one I have right here. Or, you know, sometimes there's some real, I mean, basically paperweights, you know, if there's rust on the edge, other problems with it. So if you're here on YouTube, I can only assume you've kind of been doing a little bit of research. So it's always good to research, good sellers. Maybe ask around a little bit on who sells good vintage blades. You don't have to buy anything like necessarily new old stock, which is basically a vintage razor that's still in its original packaging and everything. But at the same time, you don't want something that's been kind of too tarnished or something like that. Like this is basically new old stock condition, and it's a great blade, great razor. Real nice. But yeah, as I was saying, vintage would be my recommendation. Now vintages can get quite expensive, so maybe don't start off with one of those like a like anything that fetches a really high price, like the big Sheffield razors, Wade and Butcher, Joseph Allen, like the big beefy Sheffies, or the Phillies, the Japanese razors can get a pretty high price, so maybe don't start with one of those. You could, I'm not saying don't necessarily, but just to keep things, for the sake of this video, budget. Another thing to look out for is people who advertise their blades as shave ready. You might want to ask them what they've done to the razor, like what they've finished on, what they've used, stuff like that. you know, shave ready can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. There's no real definition to what shave ready is. To, you know, one person it can mean just putting it on a stone, you know, and that's probably not shave ready. But I'm just gonna do some laps on my strap real quick. Alright, here we go. Maybe just touch up the lather a little. Maybe added just a touch too much water to this, but it'll still work. Okay. Very nice. Now, if this seems like a lot of work, to, you know, buy a blade, all that kind of stuff, it is. That's what really tends to scare people up when it comes to straight razors. Cool. And then if you want to get into honing, there's a lot of other stuff to get into too. Yeah, straight razors, they do take a little more time and effort, and you know, you don't want to put in that time and effort to shaving, because you know that's what it really comes down to. We're just shaving. You know, I couldn't understand that. I wouldn't really want to put into a lot of work into something, you know. if I don't see good results. So going with the Magic Splash. This stuff is really good. I like the menthol content in it. But yeah, straight razors, you gotta put in a little more effort. A lot of trial and error with stuff. So that is what scares people off. But if you're willing to just kind of put in, you know, the research, and it sounds like a bit, but there's not too much. There's a lot of good information out there. You know, if you're someone new to wet shaving or straight razors, feel free to leave a comment, a question about something. And you know, I know there's a couple of guys who are pretty good with straight razors and stuff like that who follow me, so either I can help or they can help you, or we can direct you someplace that will help you, you know? So yeah, just feel free to ask questions. But yeah, that's it for me. I had a great shave. Like I said, this is a great beginner setup. I'm not gonna call this like best budget setup ever, but yeah, it's a really nice beginner setup. I got a great shave with it. No complaints, just absolutely BBS, no irritation. I do have these two. Feel like I'm in high school again. But yeah, aside from that, thank you guys for watching. Hope you found this video helpful, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya.